Shh! No, we're not hunting wabbits. Gun Owners of America is happy to tell you that Senator Mike Lee of Utah, along with Congressman Bob Good of Virginia, introduced the Silencers Helping Us Save Hearing Act, also known as the SHUSH Act. Hi, I'm Phil Riboli, host of the Minuteman Moment. The SHUSH Act would not only remove suppressors from federal regulations, but also treat suppressors like any other firearm accessory, like an optic or a barrel, free from the infringing NFA tax and background check process. The SHUSH Act will not only benefit hunters and sport shooters, but also take the needed steps for gun owners to restore the Second Amendment. And let's not forget, suppressors help people protect their hearing. But before I get into the details of the SHUSH Act, I think the bill sponsors should tell you why they think suppressors should be removed from the NFA.
The Second Amendment is the guarantor or protector of all other rights. If our Second Amendment right is not safe, no rights are safe. That's why I oppose regulating or taxing the people's right to keep and bear arms. No constitutional right should be at risk due to public opinion or subject to regulatory and tax burdens. For the Second Amendment, this extends to safety accessories for firearms, and that's why I joined Senator Mike Lee from Utah in introducing legislation that would eliminate the antiquated and overly complicated process for acquiring suppressors and ensure that their purchase is not subject to any federal regulation. I want to thank Senator Mike Lee for helping to lead the charge on this important issue, and I'm also very grateful for the support and leadership of Second Amendment groups, including Gun Owners of America, who've long advocated for this common sense policy.
Let's give Senator Lee and Congressman Good a big thank you in the comments section below for fighting for gun owners and our Second Amendment in Washington, D.C. Background checks should not be required for firearms, much less a metal tube that quiets a bullet. The entirety of the NFA and background check system should be trashed. But hopefully the SHUSH Act will make congressmen realize the absurdities some gun owners must go through just to exercise a God-given, constitutionally protected right. Suppressors were put on the NFA to combat the gangster crime wave from the early 20th century. Yeah, we're regulating suppressors today the same way we did in a different century. That's nuts. And while they're solving problems from the last century, maybe Congress can get around to solving the national whale blubber shortage next. Now, for the kids in back, a suppressor is not a lethal weapon and does not completely quiet the firearm. But Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey, condolences to my peeps in New Jersey, wants to ban suppressors. How boringly predictable. Whether it's canceling sports, demanding we all parrot the approved language, or banning guns, they just can't leave any issue undisturbed. Their goal is to control every part of our lives. I won't get into the details, but he calls it a common sense gun control that authorizes a suppressor confiscation program. Ugh. Anyway, the overwhelming majority of crimes are committed without suppressors, but suppressors do offer lots of other benefits to shooters, like reducing noise in hunting, sport shooting, and home defense. And they're cool and fun, and that's a good thing. More people having fun while shooting guns removes negative stereotypes around firearms, brings in more people to the gun culture, and creates more respect for firearms and people who choose to buy them. Under current law, the steps necessary to purchase a suppressor are onerous and expensive. Plus, the wait time can take up to a year to get approved by the ATF. The high taxes and long wait times are another form of gun control that disproportionately affect the middle and working class. The bill itself is short, only about 4 pages. We read it and encourage you to do the same as well. But if reading legislation sounds about as much fun as watching a Hollywood award show, here's what Senator Lee says the SHUSH Act will do.
Hello, Patriots. As many of you know all too well, the current oppressive process to buy a silencer requires hunters and sportsmen to fill out copious forms and pay costly fees. In other words, it serves to tax and regulate the people's right to bear arms. That's why I've introduced something called the SHUSH Act, a bill to remove this problematic and constitutionally messy tax on our Second Amendment rights.
The bill removes current restrictions on the right to own, transport, transfer, and use a silencer, including allowing current or retired law enforcement officers to carry concealed firearms with silencers. It also preempts any state regulation of the manufacture, transfer, transport, or possession of silencers and strikes provisions requiring a mandatory minimum sentence for possession of a silencer in certain instances. These are the sorts of bills we want to see. And even though anti-gunners may have a slim majority in Congress, gun owners shouldn't back down and concede defeat. We know that gun controllers are always advocating to restrict your rights, no matter who's running Congress. Gun owners should do the same. In fact, going on the offensive by actively repealing existing laws that infringe on our rights is always a good message to send. The message in the SHUSH Act is clear. We are taking back our rights. Senator Lee of Utah and Congressman Good of Virginia are among the leaders in the two-way space in Congress thanks to their bold, clear vision for gun rights. That's it for this week. I'm Phil Raboli with the Minuteman Moment.